Hello, Facebook fans. Today is the ABC 15 Telethon benefiting Phoenix Children's. If you want to donate, call 602-933-4567 or online abc15.com/telethon.
You know, every day children are facing life-threatening illnesses and injuries and need urgent life-saving care, but they need your help to make it happen.
Yes, so with our community partners at MayesTelles law firm, we wanted to introduce you to some of the patients, staff, and programs your dollars are going to.
She's like a go, go, go little girl. Like, you put her down and she goes. She loves to walk and run, and she's always like, Mom, you know, look. And she's always just so happy, which is good. I'm happy that she is. Amelia was born with a condition called amniotic band syndrome. What happens is the amniotic sac creates these strings that wrap around extremities, and it either can, you know, unfortunately kill the baby, or it can take off extremities like fingers, legs. In this case, it wrapped around her right bottom foot, and so she had to have an amputation after birth. Phoenix Children's came into play. She was in the NICU for 4 months, and about a month after she left the NICU, we saw a heart doctor and a pulmonologist, and so to make sure everything was good. And then that's where it started with the orthopedics for her amputation, and she also had a severe club foot from the amniotic bands. So that's where it started. So she wears a prosthesis that it's on the lower part of her extremity, but it connects to the knee. And she wears a sleeve, so it connects to that. And then that's about it. So it's pretty simple. And so we're happy that it was, you know, in the place it was, because then it would have been a little bit more difficult if it was the full leg. So it's a pretty neat mechanism that they have. It was a little overwhelming at first because I didn't really know what to expect, especially with like her having, you know, like not having a lower extremity, how that was going to work with her crawling and her milestones coming up. But they were very, you know, very supportive. They explained everything fully, and they connected us with the proper people that we needed to take care of her. So at first it was overwhelming, but as we went along, it was easy because we had support from everybody at the hospital. The clinic we go to is amazing, and they make sure that she's always, you know, set to like be comfortable, and that, you know, we get in there to make sure that it fits well and she's walking well. So they make sure that she's well taken care of. I think what it is keeping that positive mindset, and you know, making sure that she's good, you know, for her to not have any limits when she's, you know, going through life. So I think that's what we try to do. My main thing is that I don't want her to feel like that defines her, that she can do anything anybody else can do, and that, you know, she's confident in doing it. And I feel like she's going down that path because she's very confident, very strong-willed, very like, I'm gonna do this, I'm not gonna let this get me down, I'm gonna keep up with my brothers and sister and go. And so that's what I hope for her in the future.
My name is Bryce. This is Bristol. We live in Gilbert. Bristol is in 5th grade. She is 11. I don't know. You want to say anything?
I'm good.
You're good? She has a condition called epidermolysis bullosa. It's EB for short. They call them butterfly kids because their skin is very fragile, like butterfly wings. Her condition, she's missing a gene that binds your layers of skin together. So it's like a thread. She doesn't have that, so her skin just kind of sits on top of each other instead of like being like interweaved together. So when she falls, she doesn't have that piece of thread to like hold her from going, so it kind of separates it, and it can cause blisters or open wounds. They opened a clinic, the EB clinic, 6 months before she was born. And there was only 5 in the whole nation at the time. The EB clinic, every like second Wednesday of the month, they have like patients come in with her condition, and they have like a whole group of doctors that come in and evaluate them. So they get all hands on, and everybody is together talking about what they can do for each individual patient. And so it's amazing like that we have everybody in one place that can take care of her and support her and whatever she needs. Growing up, she hated going because she didn't have control, and we were just kind of like poking and prodding at her and, you know, trying to figure out what we could do to help her. And so as she was getting older, it was more of a control, like, okay, I'm gonna let you come in and see me, but like you are not touching me. And then we were introduced to Child Life, and everything kind of changed. It was like such a relief, because we'd go in there and she would just scream and scream and scream. And like as a mom, you're like, you want your kid to go to the doctor, but you also like want to protect them and keep them safe. So it was so hard like watching her go in there, and I'm like, hey, you don't understand, you're 4 or 5. You don't understand that they're trying to help you. And then when the Child Life had come in and did that, it was just like, oh my gosh, okay, like we're finally getting somewhere where she's comfortable with them. Yeah, now they can touch her and do what they need to do. It was very, very helpful for us. I feel like she's doing so much better than we expected she was gonna be doing. She plays ice hockey, which when we went in and told her doctor for her clinic visit, they were like, wait, what is she doing? And I was like, well, we wanted to try it out, and if it doesn't work, and they're like, okay, and she loves it. So.
It's fun.
Yeah.
I just like skating because it's like the only sport where you really do get a lot of protective gear. And then it's like the only one where it's like cold and not sweating.
We just don't want her to get stuck in that mindset that like she can't do something. And we don't want people to tell her she can't do something. We just want her to be able to know her limits and what she can do. I mean, we're so grateful for every donation that's come in, because that has helped us so much. It has given Bristol more confidence when she goes into these appointments. We're there so much, and so it's become like a second home to us, and it feels amazing that so many people have helped out the hospital to give Bristol a better experience. So, I mean, if people can donate, that'd be amazing. There's other kids that are worse off than we are, and I can only imagine how much it's helped those parents and those kids. I don't want to cry, but they've really like made our lives so much better. Thank you.
Okay, guys, if you're watching and you think I'm a doctor, I'm not a doctor, I am a nurse, okay?
He was having some leg pains that we thought at first was just, you know, typical growing pains, and it just over the months kept getting worse and worse and worse. And finally we saw a neurologist. He found an 8-centimeter mass on the bottom of his spine. His particular cancer is called Ewing sarcoma, and pretty much within, I don't know, 3-4 hours he was into surgery. And so he had about 9 months of chemotherapy, radiation. We were out here every single week driving from Lake Havasu. So he was pretty weak, underweight, super pale. He lost all his hair probably within the first few weeks of treatment. That was kind of rough because he always had compliments on his hair and stuff, so that was kind of a shock for us. Absolutely love Child Life, specifically Haley. She did a lot to make him feel comfortable. He is a kid that has to know everything that's going on, so he'll get super anxious or scared, especially in the beginning with all the pokes to his port, doing blood, all that stuff. But he still had to be watching, as anxious as he was. He had to be watching. You had to tell him step by step what was happening, and she was very good at working with him on that. She was good at distracting him. She made him a special badge because he had to know everything that was going on. He would say he wanted to be a nurse, so they would go through all the steps. He would tell her what was happening next, what they needed to do, and so she had a special little badge made up where he's a blood tube support specialist that he would wear every single time he came in here and would tell the nurses, the doctors that he was working. One of our managers, nurse case managers, Patty, she would pay him in the orange bucks for the cafeteria downstairs because he was on payroll here. And he finished up at the end of April last year, and he got to ring his bell on Mother's Day weekend. So that was a big one for me.
I had to go through a lot of stuff, and I had to do chemo and surgery and like that. And so I had to do cancer. I had cancer. Oh, I was in a Spider-Man costume. It meant I was done with doing all that stuff by like staying here for a lot of days. It meant a lot to me. I felt really, really happy. And sometimes I was having happy tears. So yeah, that's the life of the story and the life of Cooper as a kid.
He is doing phenomenal now. He is back in school, which when this all happened last year, he had gone to kindergarten for a day and a half before everything hit, and then he was taken out of school immediately. So he's back in school. He's excelling academically, which is amazing. I don't think I could say thank you enough. I get emotional thinking about it, but I can't say enough good things about this hospital and all the people we experienced and interacted here. From his nurses, the doctors, child life, pet therapy when we'd be staying in hospital. Just every single person we interacted with here, I had a positive experience. I think he had a positive experience. So this hospital saved him.
Hayden is a spunky, wild 14-year-old teenager. The other day we were talking to somebody and they were like, I could feel the joy that is just like pouring out of her. And every scenario that she's been faced with, she's like taking it on with a smile. Hayden was born in 2008 with something called VACTERL. Basically, every letter of VACTERL stands for a birth anomaly. In order to qualify as VACTERL, you have to have 3 of the letters. V is vertebral, A is anal, C is cardiac, T is trachea, E is esophageal, R is renal, L is limbs. Hayden has all of them, plus more. Once we found Phoenix Children's, I found a pediatrician within Phoenix Children's that specializes with special needs kiddos and their illnesses, and kind of, chatted back with him for a little bit. And he was like, yes, this would be a great place for you guys. It's more than I can ask for as a parent, especially in this case, because it's a world nobody wants to know anything about. But knowing that it's a world that I'm thankful I'm a part of is, where it means the most to us. Hayden has been G-tube fed her whole entire life. She's had oral aversion her entire life. And when we got hooked with Dr. Williams, which is a GI doctor at Phoenix Children's, she referred us to her intensive feeding program. It's a very intensive program. We were there 5 days a week for several weeks. And within that time, they had Hayden eating by mouth. We still go back every 3 months just to touch base, and she has ongoing feeding therapy. And it's just something so little you don't realize is so life-changing. She has always been failure to thrive. While she is still on the failure to thrive scale, she's also gaining the weight she needs to be able to, you know, make it through a lot of her illnesses. She's also a respiratory kiddo. So respiratory illnesses are rough on the body. And having that weight and that nutrition to kind of boost you through that has really helped her.
I like to make TikToks, watch YouTube, and just dance and be me.
Our big thing, mine and my husband's big thing, is when she was born, they told us her future was not a future at all. And they kind of told us to expect nothing more than what we kind of already had. Their exact words was she was going to be in a vegetative state the rest of her life, and she's not. So every day we're just thankful for any progress she does make, and as long as she's happy, we are there to support whatever she wants to do in life, except drive. There will be no driving. Mom's not ready for that.
Joey's amazing. He's been through so much in his 8 months of life. Anyone who meets him, he has, you know, an ear-to-ear smile. Barely ever cries. It's amazing. Hi, I'm Sarah Hagener, and I'm Joey's mom. So when I was 32 weeks pregnant, and I had a scheduled C-section for 37 weeks, we were in an ultrasound, and they told me that Joey's limbs weren't growing as they should be, and they told me that I should probably go to Phoenix Children's and have them look into possibly what this could be, most likely a form of skeletal dysplasia, which I had no idea what that even was. They were 99% sure that Joey's was achondroplasia, and achondroplasia is a form of dwarfism. With achondroplasia, there's different health issues that come about with it that they'll need to be monitoring, especially in the first few years here. And we're lucky because we're at Children's and we have a good support system that's, you know, going to help us get there. And when we were introduced to Phoenix Children's, they made us feel so comfortable, so safe. I always tell people, you know, whatever we're at the hospital for, whatever it is at the time, they make scary situations less scary. And I don't know how they do it, but they're truly, truly amazing. They just opened it. It's a skeletal dysplasia clinic. And so for Joey, for example, we got into the clinic, I want to say he was like 2.5 months. And you meet with a neurosurgeon, endocrinologist, PT, OT, and you know, other doctors, specialty doctors that come and see him all at once. And they kind of look at him, observe him, see what he needs. And they do that for, you know, other families, whether it's achondroplasia or other forms of skeletal dysplasias. And that's amazing because you get all these specialist doctors that come into one area and, you know, help you. We met with a child life specialist who was with us through the whole process. I mean, it was truly touching, you know, what they do for the kids. And I saw what she and her colleagues do for all the kids, especially in the ICU. It's really amazing. Putting your faith and your trust into these people, and it feels okay. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to explain, but like I said, they make these scary situations less scary.
He's everyone's buddy.
He's changed our whole outlook on life, I feel like. You know, it's very humbling. I always tell people you never know what people are going through. This little boy is the happiest. He's been through so much. He was actually intubated for almost a month when he was 3 months. And the whole time he was just, you know, making his nurses happy. And even though it was a scary situation, again, he's just a special person. I feel like he's here for a reason. I always I tell my husband now, and he totally agrees. I'm like, maybe this is what we were here to do. And Joey, like, you always think like, you know, why is this happening? Why? There's always like a greater meaning. And it's just like, even my daughter who's 3, she knows that. She's like, I want to be a doctor at Phoenix Children's, you know, and like, she really does say this. I'm like, you could be, you know, and it's just what they've done for us in the 8 months of Joey's life has been so monumental. He's just a very, very special little boy.
My name's Heather Lombardi, and I am the Zone Production Child Life Specialist at Phoenix Children's Hospital. Right now we are in the Child Life Zone. This is the happiest place in the hospital. That's our slogan, our tagline. And so down here in the zone we have a lot of amazing things that the kids can do while they're here in the hospital. We've got pinball machines, a basketball hoop, pool tables, we do arts and crafts, foosball, we've got a photo booth and a jukebox. So tons of fun things the kids can come down here and play. We get a lot of tours that come through the zone. And I think that they are just amazed at all of the things that we have to provide the kids that they're able to play with or interact with or create that they can take home with them. And we wouldn't be able to do any of that without our partners in the community and without donations from people in the community. And for the kids that aren't able to come down and play, we have something called our Zone to Go cart. Our main goal is to reach as many patients as possible here in the hospital. So we have a cart that goes up to the room that is like our Zone to Go. And so in that cart we have different games and craft items and things for the kids to do upstairs in their rooms if they aren't able to come out of their rooms. And we also have a studio that we do closed circuit TV from. We have a variety of different game shows. Each of the game shows that we do has a different goal in mind. So Mondays, for instance, are medical bingo. We do medical bingo to teach kids in a non-threatening and fun way about the hospital and different people and items that they might see in their rooms every single day. We also partner with our pet therapy program to do a show called Pet Painting, where we get a therapy dog in the studio and the kid can call down and they can choose paint colors, and we put the paint in a canvas in a bag with peanut butter or pumpkin on top, and the dog licks the paint or the pumpkin off, and then there's a beautiful piece of artwork that the child gets to have after. We also have a show called Draw a Song. We collaborate with our art therapist and our music therapist. The patient will be able to choose the song, and then we shift over to our art therapist, and while our music therapist perform the song, the art therapist will create art based on that song that the patient is able to take with them. The prizes that we provide for the shows after kids play are all donated from people in the community. And now it's a source of comfort for them as they continue their journey in the hospital. And we wouldn't be able to have those prizes without the support from the community. So as you walk back into our studio, you'll notice we have a wall-to-floor green screen. And so what we're able to do with the green screen is I can pretty much put any sort of graphic or video onto the green screen. So kids are able to tune into the show and they're able to see the beach, or they're able to see a campfire in the background. So we can kind of use that green screen to help provide normalcy in the hospital. As we turn the corner here, you'll see the actual behind the camera part of the studio. And in this area is where I'm able to produce the show. I love being creative and I love helping kids in the hospital be kids. And so this was a great opportunity for me to kind of shift my role, still do the child life specialist role, but shift that role into creating entertaining content for kids and families to play while they're in the hospital. I have the opportunity sometimes of having kids in the studio with me, whether that's behind the camera helping me with production, or whether that's in front of the camera with my host, being able to host the show themselves. So it's really awesome to give them the opportunity to show themselves and to boost their self-esteem and to provide them the opportunity to gain mastery in something. In the hospital, they don't have a lot of control, and that gives them the opportunity to have a sense of control and to have fun and to just be a kid. I think that the Zone and CLZ TV and the Zone to Go cart provide opportunities for patients and families to be able to take their mind off being in the hospital. Almost like going to another place that is a place that's safe, that's fun, that can distract them from being here and to provide normalcy in the hospital.
Thanks for watching the Phoenix Children's special Facebook Live, sponsored by MayesTelles Attorneys. We hope you found some inspiration to donate.
Yes, the need is great. The time is now. If you would like to donate, 602-933-4567, online at abc15.com/telethon.